What is going on, people? Welcome to another edition of the Mike Roach Show. My apologies. I tried to get this thing started about an hour ago, but some things came up, and so we get it going right now. And on the agenda today, what I want to speak about is what the heck happens next for the Toronto Raptors. And of course, you're going to be seeing many shows where we're going to be discussing these many different topics in regards to the Raptors, their roster, their coaching, what changes might be made, doing player evaluations on all of these guys from starters to bench pieces to possibly who they can draft to blah, 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 blah. The show goes on. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. But before I get into any specifics, what I do want to do is discuss a few things in general. Okay, some of the things that we have learned and some of the things that we need to discuss when it comes to this team. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to I've heard all of these press conferences. I heard the press conferences with the players, okay, all typical stuff. I heard the press conference with Bobby Webster, absolutely useless. You got no information from him whatsoever instead of a bunch of just generic stuff that we already freaking knew. I mean, are you kidding me? Who didn't know that he was going to say those things? An absolute master at answering questions without actually answering anything. So, I mean, listen, it's designed to be that way. And listen, I get it. I understand. You're really not trying to give up too much information. So completely understand there. And what I will do is, because I see Mo is in the building, super fan official Mo. So I'm gonna, obviously, because Mo is a big supporter. So we got to do that there. Mo, what are you saying here? Let me see a few of the things that you're saying. Not worried. Let's start from the top here. Bobby Webster season-ending interview equals solid. It was a whole bunch of solid nothing to me. I didn't learn anything, which is completely fine. Nothing out of the normal there. Mamu and Grady were the eye opener for me. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Not worried about RJ. I hear you. Let's see what he said here. There's so many options at 19. Feels like it's hard for the front office to fumble the pick. I'm feeling optimistic, even though we're still like 6-7 weeks away. Listen, I'm excited about it as well. It's a good draft. There's going to be pieces there that you can get. I'm not 100% sure what the Raptors are going to be doing with this pick. I know it sounds like they want to keep this pick for sure. But I'm wondering if anything ends up materializing in regards to what happens possibly with trades, contracts, etc. So there are a few things that we can discuss and talk about it. Roster, coaching, offense, defense, money choices that are going to be made with the front office as well. There are a whole bunch of different things that we can talk about here. And the best thing about to me overall, what's happened with the Raptors right now is that the Raptors seem to be relevant again. They seem to be relevant again. Now, yes, you lose in 7 games in the first round of the playoffs, but at least the world got to see you on prime time. They understand and know what Scotty Barnes is all about. They've seen you now showcase your ability on both ends of the court and what you can potentially be if the right moves are made. And so that is good. You have some momentum going with you going into next season. Now, can you build on that? I don't know. We hope so. We hope so. But to me, you see, this offseason for the Raptors is going to be critical. It's going to be critical. It's a dangerous offseason. Why do I say that? Because you don't want to show progress and then end up looking like the Orlando Magic did this season. And it's going to be harder to take a jump from 30 to 46 wins, which is the jump that they took this season, and then 46 to 50 wins. It's harder to make that jump It's harder to take that jump from 4 games than it was to that 30 to 46, believe it or not. That's just a reality. Because now people are going to expect you somewhat to be a decent team. You had no expectation from a lot of people coming into this season. Outside of Toronto, that is. You didn't have any expectation. A lot of people didn't even have people in the Raptors making the damn playoffs. Seriously. A lot of people didn't have Toronto making the playoffs or doing anything. Now you're going to have some type of expectation going into next season. So we're going to have to see what you can do in the offseason for this team to be able to take the right steps to move forward. The first thing I'll discuss with you here is the roster. And by the roster, I'm not talking about everyone here. There will be shows where I'm going to break down every player on this roster. Starters, bench guys, everyone. And I'm not even going to necessarily dive deep into all your starters and all that stuff right now either. I want to talk in general here. In general. And right now, there are a couple pieces on this team for the Toronto Raptors that we know as of right now are not going to be going anywhere, at least by the way that it looks. You could never guarantee anything in pro sports. Obviously, we know about Scotty Barnes. He's clearly not going anywhere here. Okay? Colin Murray Boyles obviously is not going anywhere here. Jacoby Walter and Jamal Shed are fine. Nothing's happening to them. Johnny, what's up, my man? See you in here. Hey, Mike and everyone, what's going on? Dude, what the F? Did Bobby really say he doesn't want to extend RJ? I don't think that's what came out of his mouth. He doesn't know what's going to happen yet because this all has to do with money. Fit. And we'll talk about that in just a second here, Johnny. So Barnes, CMB, Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, we know are not going anywhere. And I don't put Barrett in there because we don't know what is to come with his contract situation. We don't know what's to come with his contract situation. And so that's where we have to leave it here. Because some people want RJ back. A lot of people want RJ back, actually, especially what they saw in this 7 games in the playoffs. He shows you that he's got the dog in him. He shows you that he's always ready to be aggressive from an offensive standpoint. He shows you that he is going to show up and show out. And I understand that. But some people want more shooting. They want to have somebody who can go more than left consistently. But anyway, we can break down RJ's game at a later date. But for a guy that we're looking at in RJ Barrett, is he a person that's going to be here for sure? No, you don't know that. And his contract is a big part of that. They can use him in a trade. They can do 3 things with RJ Barrett, which is clear, right? I mean, you can extend him, you can trade him, or let him walk into the last year of his deal. Those are only 3 options at this point. And so with that being said, we don't know what's going to happen here as much as we may think we do, but we really don't. And I'll get into some of your comments, Johnny. I did not watch the interview. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. The whole thing is there. It wasn't very long. It was probably like 20 minutes or so. Trouty's in the building. Trouty, what up, Mike and Peeps? What's going on, Trouty? Nana's in the building as well. Johnny, I think it's more because they gave too much money to IQ and locked up Pirtle. It's the money is the big thing here. The money is the big thing here, Johnny. It may not even be that you don't want to bring him back, but it's the money. They can't go into the luxury. That's not what they're looking to do. They want flexibility, right? They better not trade RJ. That'll be the last straw for me. I miss Chris Boucher already. Trouty says RJ is only 25 years old. If Bobby doesn't extend him soon, he could cost a lot more money in a year's time. That is true. The thing is with RJ, right? Because I'm not going to lie, there are times where I watch RJ and he absolutely drives me insane. I'm not going to lie about that. He does drive me insane sometimes with forcing the issue offensively, not making the extra pass, failed defensive assignments. But at the end of the day, when I watch RJ play, right, the tenacity that he plays with, the love of the city, he's from here, he wants to be here, he gets buckets, he's improved. Do I say you get rid of RJ and you try to find somebody to replace what he does? Or do you bank on development and look to see the game that he already has improve? Right? That's the thing. Do you want to get rid of him because of his flaws? Or do you want to see his game improve? Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. F around and find out. Sometimes you got to be extremely careful what you wish for. And the last thing that you want is to be in a position where you win 46 games and then you end up taking a step back in the season following. And I mentioned that for a couple different reasons, because we've talked about this before. You can't teach chemistry. You can't teach chemistry. And so, yeah, maybe you find somebody else, but is it going to gel off the court? Can there be problems on the court? You don't know. You don't know. Yeah, I really hope we extend him, says Johnny. I'm trading everyone except Scotty and CMB to keep RJ. Johnny also says, you know how rare it is for a player to actually want to stay on the Raptors? That is true. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. Trouty says, I also don't see Nana's comments. You don't see Nana's comments? I see. Well, I saw one. I'll see if I see him again in a second. We need RJ to improve his free throw shooting and threes and just be a better defender. And he's solid. Listen, I think RJ's a guy who can improve. I think he's guys who can improve. He's not afraid of the moment. I think he's gotten better defensively, even though he can still be significantly better. Needs to work on his ball handling, free throw shooting. If I was RJ for like a month, I would tie my left hand behind my back and learn to use that right hand. Jokin Cruz says, this is going to be long. Extend RJ 3 years, 18 to 24 mil. Don't resign Garrett Temple and Lawson. Trade Yak. I like Lawson. Trade Yak. Find 2 players in free agency that can shoot and defend. Trade Grady for Day'Ron Sharpe. I highly doubt you're going to be able to trade Grady for Day'Ron Sharpe. But I feel you. Day'Ron Sharpe is a good player and would be a very nice player coming off the bench for the Raptors. If we can get a damn 7-footer in there that could do a little bit more than whatever the hell Jakob Poeltl is doing this season. And I know it's nothing personal to Jakob Poeltl, and he's had a pretty much a bad back the entire season. He hasn't been moving well. And in all honesty, I mean, he has looked better in previous seasons, in previous years with the Raptors. Still don't understand that contract extension that he got, but he was still better in what we have seen in seasons before. So I mean, but Jakob Poeltl, that's an entirely another conversation for another day here. Trouty says, I want the Raptors to draft sign a guy who shoots like 89% from the free throw line. Just give me that much. I mean, damn. RJ was, you hope to see him better at the free throw line in the upcoming season if he's still a Toronto Raptor, because man, that did not look good a lot of those times. But here's what we said. Like, what did the playoffs tell us? Let's get here for a second. What did the playoff tell us about some of the guys that I mentioned earlier, about the guys that we know aren't going anywhere? Murray Boyles, Scotty Barnes, Walter, Shed. Well, first of all, Scotty Barnes looked like it's potential superstar incoming here. Okay, he's clearly showed you at this point that he can do it on both ends of the floor. And he's showing you that he can do it offensively when he needs to do it. The only thing I will say is this: he needs to do it all the time. This ain't a wait for the playoffs offensive Scotty Barnes that we need. We need high-powered offensive Scotty Barnes all season long, on top of what he's doing on the defensive end. So in order for him to be able to do that offensively all season, you got to make sure that you bring in other defenders to the point where Scotty doesn't have to kill himself guarding guards, forwards, centers. You need to have somebody else in place alongside of Colin Murray Boyles that is going to help him defend and bang with bigs and forwards as well, and not just leave it all up to him, because obviously he's playing a bulk of the minutes here for the Raptors. And Colin Murray Boyles were getting those crazy minutes early on the season, towards the end of the season, yes, and obviously in the playoffs. But now you're going to need other pieces and size, athletic ability, strength to be able to guard big forwards and centers, so that Scotty Barnes doesn't have to have the task night in and night out of those assignments. So superstar incoming for Scotty Barnes, showing you he could do it all. Can defend, can score, can pass, can handle the ball, can rebound, and can think quickly. He can do all of those things. Colin Murray Boyles, what have we seen from him? We clearly know that the guy is going to be an all-world defender. We know that. Defensive IQ is high. His ability to guard multiple positions is key. His strength is glaring. I mean, to see what he can do at his size as a rookie, imagine how strong he can be if he continues to put in that work in the weight room. And he can score. He doesn't go looking for his shot and baskets underneath the rim. He doesn't. He takes what the defense gives him, which I'm completely fine with at this point. I'm not saying he's going to have to be able to step back and drill threes immediately, but you at least want to have a decent mid-range if you're Colin Murray Boyles at this point. You want to be aggressive around the basket, attack the paint, especially when you're in the paint. You don't consistently have to look to pass out of the paint. If you get the ball, somebody hands it off to you in the dunker spot, don't look to always kick it back out at the 3-point line. Finish inside if you can, and don't be afraid to finish and try to go up and get to the free throw line if you have to. Jamal Shed has shown us that he is a dog. Jamal Shed, and I'll get back to your comments in just a second. Jamal Shed has shown us that he has a lot of dog in him. He's shown us he had a lot of dog in him. I'm talking about defensively. This guy is all up in your grill. All up in your grill. Guarding you 94 feet if need be. He stepped up and made some big threes in this series. Not a great shooter, but he stepped up and made some big threes. He made some shots. He's going to improve in that regard. But he showed poise, defensive toughness, tenacity. He's not afraid to take shots. He can control the offense. His game is going to continue to improve. And we're here for it for Jamal Shead. We are here for it. He's tough. He's physical. He's not afraid of the moment. This is the kind of guy you want on your roster. He's the type of guy that you need and the type of guy that you're going to be looking at for improvement. Jacoby Walter. Jacoby Walter showed us something. I'm proud of Jacoby Walter. And I'm a huge fan of Jacoby Walter. He can shoot the ball. He can defend. And he can handle the ball a little bit as well. He's not afraid of the moment. He is not afraid of the moment. These are the type of players that you need. Damn it, you need to have players with some damn balls. These guys fit the criteria for that. My pet peeve, anybody who's been listening to me for a while, I do not like players who are afraid of the moment. And Jacoby Walter stepped the hell up in the playoffs. Damn it, I respect it. I respect it. And so I am looking at Jacoby Walter as a massive piece for the Raptors as well come next season. Can shoot the three, can defend. On your wing, this is what you need. He needs to become a consistent three-point shooter for this Raptors team and be able to guard as well. Look how valuable he was during this playoff run. So with a good offseason and get in that damn weight room. Get the meal plan down. Get the weight room in there. And go to work. Got to be physically stronger. Physically stronger. Every player on this roster needs to get in the weight room. And we're not talking about being physically bigger. That may come. We're talking about being physically stronger. There's a massive difference. Not necessarily bigger, stronger. And RJ Barrett, I told you, we'll get more into him at a later date because we don't exactly know what's going to happen with RJ Barrett here. I don't think Bobby Webster was clear on that. Barrett was clear on that. Barrett was saying he definitely wants to be here. He doesn't want to go anywhere. And we're not sure exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to come back to your comments now in just a second. But this is the first off-season, remember, that we are seeing without Masai Ujiri. And I'm not sure if all of you guys saw that Masai Ujiri is in Dallas. For those who didn't catch that news, I'm pretty sure you all did. But if you don't know, he is the president now for the Dallas Mavericks. And I did watch his press conference here. And so it's going to be interesting. The first season that we're fully going to see what Bobby Webster is like without Masai Ujiri. That is important. Why is that important? Because when it comes to drafting and making trades, we don't know how much of the influence all of these things were in regards to who wanted what more when it came to Masai and Bobby. Who wanted Jacoby Walter? Who wanted Jamal Shead? Who wanted Colin Murray Boyles? Was it more of one guy compared to the other? I mean, which one was it? I wasn't in the room. I don't have any intel on this specifically. Maybe I can get some though. But I don't know specifically whose style was what in regards to Masai and Bobby. But now with the draft coming up and free agency and roster moves coming from Dallas and the Raptors, and for every team for that matter, but now getting to see Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri in control of their own teams, this is going to be eye-opening and very, very interesting. And I'll get to we need spacing for Scotty and RJ. You definitely need spacing. Superfan Mo says, I still want Daron Sharp on the Raptors so bad. Help. No, listen, I agree with that. I really like him. I guess maybe it could be a possibility depending on what the hell happens with Brooklyn. I guess we'll see. Trouty says, yes, we need natural shooters and a 7-foot center who can rebound. Completely agree. And who is really, really aggressive. Johnny says, laugh my ass off. I have him on NBA 2K. Hey, where do you guys play your NBA on? Do you guys play on PS5? You guys let me know if you're on PS5. You guys can add me on there and we'll get at it, damn it. Okay. He's listed at 6'9". Dog476 says Daron Sharp is a breakout guy to buy in stock. Completely agree. I really like his game. And I mean, if the Raptors can somehow get Daron Sharp, I would really, really like that. Trouty says, if Raptors sign Morant, I'm shutting the TV off. I wouldn't just shut the TV off. I would shut the TV off and then find the closest dumpster I can find and throw it in there. That's what I would do. No disrespect to Morant, but I don't want to see him in a Raptors uniform. Jokin Cruz says, Mike, do you have any specific targets or archetype of player you want via draft or free agency? It's a good question. It's a good question. And we're going to have an episode about that. I won't get too much into it tonight because I don't have all of my stuff down on paper, but I will have specific names for you in regards to that, in regards to free agency and in the draft. So that's a good question there. And I will answer that for you shortly at a later date. I'll put together an entire episode just specifically for that. Johnny says like 7 foot or taller. Yes. Yes. I want 7 feet. 6'11". I don't want any more centers at 6'8". Okay. Find me a 7-footer. 7'1", 7'2". I don't give a damn. Just make sure there's 7 foot in front. Okay. Trouty says, how tall was Chris Bosh? Like 6'10", right? Yes, I believe Chris Bosh was 6'10", maybe 6'10 and a half ish, something like that. Ash YI4TW did put $5 in the super chat, so I appreciate that. Drop one for you there, much appreciated. Johnny says maybe, but he's a power forward. Trouty says, well, I'd say he was closer to a center for the Raptors. Trouty says, sort of like Chet Holmgren is technically a forward. Trouty says, imagine having 2 7-footers on your team like the Thunder. Listen, we need size. We need size. We need strength. We need athletic ability, rim protection, lob threat. We need to find 7-foot athletics somewhere. And I've been realizing that the Raptors, we haven't really done a good job in that center spot. Since that championship is over, the scouts and the front office have not done a good job finding reliable athletic fives for the Raptors. Mamu showed a lot in the regular season, not in the playoffs, though. Sign him. It's going to be interesting what happens with Mamu. Obviously, it looks like he's going to be a free agent. What happens in free agency? I know that the Raptors clearly want to retain him. If that will be the case, I have absolutely no idea at this point. Remind me to talk about Grady Dick in just a second. I have to go, guys. Good night, everyone. Take care and see y'all soon. Later, Johnny. We'll talk to you again soon, my man. Trouty says, have a good night, Johnny. Why Mavs Masai? Why? Hey, superfan Mo. Masai had to take that job. I mean, when you get to be in Dallas in Texas with that nice Texas weather, plus you got Cooper Flag in the building, you don't want to pass that up. Trouty says, if all options were available, what position would you most want to draft for the Raps in the first round? You know what? I would look at, ideally, if I can get a center or a 3-and-D wing, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but a 3-and-D wing with some decent size, a center too. I don't know. But the whole center position is really disgusting me right now, to be completely honest with you. Maybe he'll take Pirtle back. I don't know what you're going to do with Jakob Pirtle in the offseason. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to move him, but I guess we'll see. I really hope they can hold on to Mamu. So do I. And that was from James D 1586. We didn't get much out of him in the postseason, which was a shame. I was hoping that we would have been able to get a little bit more out of Mamu. But I mean, we saw what he can do in the regular season. The guy can play, clearly, can shoot the ball, can defend at times. He's unselfish. He's coachable. He's a good player. He's a good player, can finish in transition. He's probably a guy you're going to want to hold on to. Joking Crew says, guys, did y'all see NBA top overrated players? Scotty is number 8. He shouldn't be on that list. I did see that. And I have absolutely no idea what the hell people are talking about. Scotty overrated at this. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, give me a break. This is a serious two-way player that we have on our hands. And the thing is, like, who the hell? Grady next, Mike. Thanks, Mo. I did forget. So thank you for reminding me. Who the hell comes out with these damn overrated lists? Like, who comes out with these things? Seriously. Who are these players filling out these lists that we don't know about? Just random NBA guys that just talk their ass off behind people's back and nobody knows who the hell they are. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, that's the thing that I just don't understand. When these lists come out, who are these players talking about this stuff that nobody knows about? I just don't understand. Superfan Mo, we'll talk about Grady for a second, and then Ash YI4TW, I'll get to you after that. Grady Dick, I saw, according to Michael Grange of Sportsnet, would be open to a trade from the Raptors. I'll say that to say this. Grady, you have no choice but to be open for a trade. Like, the hell are you talking about? Now, if you're saying that at this point, that pretty much means that you want out without just saying that you want out, in my estimation, which is completely fine. I get it, because Jacoby Walter at this point has that backup 2 position locked up. And with him in the fold, I mean, good luck to you. And listen, I actually like Grady Dick, to be completely honest with you. I do think he has potential. I think he has shown in flashes at different points over his career that he has the ability to shoot the ball. The problem is that he doesn't defend very well. At times he's shown that he can defend, but not nearly enough. And so if you can't do that, especially with a team that's looking to make strides and be a playoff team, they're just not going to keep you around, I don't think. Especially if they know they're not going to be able to play you. So Bobby Webster in his press conference said they are looking for two-way players, the best available two-way players that they can find. And so at this point, if you cannot display, or at least put on display, that you have the ability to defend at a decent level, you're not going to be playable. Because look at the teams that you're going up against in the playoffs. If you look at a New York, you're looking at a Detroit, right? You're looking at a Cleveland. And look in this series. I mean, for God's sakes, you're going up against a Donovan Mitchell, a James Harden, a Dennis Schroeder. And that's on one team. Not to mention what you'd have to deal with the Celtics and New York and Detroit and Atlanta. And then next season, you're looking at the Pacers coming back. And you're looking at whatever happens with the Orlando Magic. I mean, you got to be able to keep these guys out of the damn paint. These guys want to break down the middle of the paint, finish at the rim, or kick it out for shooting. And if you're not able to keep these guys in front of you, you're freaking toast. I mean, do we really have to break this thing all the way down? It doesn't take rocket science here. If you can't keep these guys in front of you, and I'm not saying that you're going to be able to do it all the time. I'm not saying that. I understand this is the NBA. These are the best players in the world. These guys are shifty. They're tough to defend. But you got to be able to do it on a consistent basis. And if Grady Dick cannot put that on display at this point, Darko Rajakovic is not going to play your ass. And I don't think Bobby Webster wants him to play if you can't do that. Because what you're giving up defensively is not going to be worth what you can bring to the table on offense, especially compared to what obviously Jacoby Walter and RJ Barrett are going to be giving you. So with that being said, I don't know what's going on with Grady Dick, but will he be in a Raptors uniform next season? I don't know. If they got rid of him and traded him, okay, I can understand. That. Would I necessarily want to give up on him already? Not necessarily sure I'd want to do that either. But it is what it is. And that's what I will say in regards to Grady Dick. AshY4TW says, yes, Jacoby will kick ass if he goes to work this offseason. All players need to be stronger and toughen up. Completely agree. If he hits the weight room, it's going to be huge for him and everybody on this roster. They all got to hit that weight room. Got to be physically strong here. I want to talk about Darko for just a second here. Now, Darko, I thought lived up to what we thought he could be as a coach, especially from what we saw in the postseason. But even before that, a 30-win team jumping 16 games in the standings is incredible. And I'm a drop one for Darko. Damn good job this season. And I mean, from 30 to 46 wins, also a top 5 defense in the league. Identity right now looks to just be hard nosed defensively, a hustle team. And, you know, he made some timely adjustments in the playoffs. He made some timely adjustments in the playoffs. And I got to give him a lot of credit for that. Okay, so I mean, when you look at some of the things he did, he played Scotty Barnes over that 40-minute mark, which is what I wanted to see. He took away some minutes from Jakob Poeltl because he was struggling, gave those minutes to Colin Murray Boyles, which is also what we've wanted to see, and we've wanted to see that from earlier. He gave Jamal Shed and Jacoby Walter the minutes, put Brandon Ingram on the bench when he was struggling, which I agree with. All right. And listen, he did his thing. He did his thing. I mean, he was tough. If you look at the way he was successful with his challenges in big games and balancing the minutes for these guys, I mean, he did a pretty damn good job. And when you look at the defense that he was playing with these guys, whether it means to be a man-to-man, a shadow defense, I mean, he was doing it. The strategic implementation of being able to guard and shadow double team on and off in regards to Mitchell, Harden, switching up defenses at time and even putting guys like Barrett on some of the bigs. I mean, he did a pretty decent job. He was able to try different defensive schemes and be successful to a certain degree when he was doing it. So that was good as well. The problem is that from an offensive standpoint, you weren't good, especially in the half court. You were good from a defensive standpoint. Yes, you were a top 5 defense in the league, but you weren't good offensively in the half court set. You moved the ball because, I mean, franchise record 29.5 assists per game, which is 3rd in the NBA and 1st in fast break points. But your half court set was really struggling. And this is where you're going to need shooters here. This is where you're going to need shooters in your offense, right? And Bobby Webster did mention this in his press conference. It's not just about your defense being a top 5 defense. You also got to be a top 10 offensively as well, a top 10 offensive team. Now, the tough part is how you manage to improve your offense without letting your defense slide down, right? And if your defense does slide down from a top 5 defense, can you keep it within top 10, maybe top 11, right? And then up your offensive game to now where you can be top 10, top 11 offensively as well. You got to have them both. And that's what he mentioned. It's the successful teams, the really successful teams. You're looking at top teams in both offensive defense, hopefully a top 10 team offensively and defensively, which is why he keeps saying he's got to look for the best two-way players that he can find, because you have to maintain your defense now while upping your offense. You can't have, double down on your defense and then let your offense get even worse, or then significantly improve your offense and your defense drops. There has to be maintenance done with your defense while upgrading your offense. So there has to be balance there. The best question is, how do you do it? That's what you're going to need to figure out. Athletic bigs around your rim and shooters. And shooters. You're going to need that. Perimeter high IQ defenders. Understanding angles, being able to force players in different directions, physically strong, getting in the weight room, and communication. Communication, the least amount of defensive breakdowns possible. All of these different things are what you're going to have in totality in for the Raptors to be able to take the next step from a 46 win team to a 50 win team. Ash YI4TW, great pickup by Dallas. Love Ujiri. James D 1586. I hope Grady works hard this summer, regardless if they keep him or not. Ash YI4TW, Morant comes with too much baggage. Completely agree. Thank you for that information. Bosch is 611. Superfan Mo. How many years would you extend Darko, Mike? I'm not sure, but if I had to look at it, probably 3. Look at the numbers in regard to that. And so I'm not going to keep you here forever tonight because we are just talking in generic terms at this point before we get to the real specifics podcast breakdown. But yeah, I mean, overall, there are a lot of questions with the Toronto Raptors and what they're going to be doing going forward. So a lot of things that we got to discuss in these next few days, weeks, and months in regards to everything surrounding the Toronto Raptors. If you haven't already done so, make sure you get into the comments, not just the chat. I will respond to you and get back to you as fast as I possibly can. At Micro7 on IG, at Micros23 on X. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and share the Mike Roach Show. The season is over and the offseason begins now. Be prepared to hear a lot of chatter, a lot of rumors, a lot of different things that you are going to be hearing about. A lot of the starters on this team not named Scotty Barnes. It's already begun, so don't be surprised when you hear a lot of crazy things. The Real Truth gets into the chat and says Grady is done with the Raptors. Eddie's S5 says, will they get a big man? They need a good rim protector. You know what, Eddie's? That's what I'm hoping for the most. I am hoping for that the most. They need one desperately. And I mean absolutely desperately. They need athletic bigs, real centers with athleticism, good defensive IQ, strength, rim protection. Like that, we just got to see it. We absolutely have to see it. And I mentioned to you guys, if you guys are on PS5 and you guys are getting down on 2K, you got to hit me up. You got to let me know what's going on because I think that would be absolutely hilarious. So I'm going to be checking out right now. I'm going to, can I drop a bomb for people? Who should I drop a bomb for? There's a lot of people I could drop a bomb for. Like Nas Reed. I like Nas Reed a lot. Alonzo Mourning style, Ben Wallace style. We need somebody who's rough and rugged, willing to throw some bows, who has strength, who can match up against a Mobley and an Allen. Somebody who can match up against these bigs in the East. Because when we go up against them, we get our ass kicked and get abused on the glass and in the toughness department. And we can no longer allow that to happen Bobby Webster and his coaching staff or scouting staff, I should say, need to figure this the hell out. But listen, all these specific shows will be coming up soon. This is the Micro Show. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Looking forward to speaking to all of you again soon in one of these episodes coming up. So, this is the Micro Show officially, and I'm out for tonight. Y'all have a good night. Peace.